There we go. Okay, so now let's mirror this over. There we go. Oh, did I stitch it when I mirrored it? Okay, let's hide this sketch. Let me just check to make sure something here. Okay. So when we evaluate these, let me just go back to your mural board here. So I'm going to ask you some questions of, did you want this? Is this what you expected? Okay.
I think.
Well, no, let me go through the model first. That's what I'm going to do, is ask you some questions about that. So first I'm going to just quickly hop into Fusion. So which I saw that you did to kind of get a better understanding of the highlights. Put my glasses on here. Okay, so the very first thing I see, Megan, is that you did not set it up so that there's continuity. There's no tangency here. Did you notice that?
No, because I didn't see that.
Okay, so one of the first things, you know, that we talked about in the classes and even in the last video, did you watch those two videos I sent?
Yes.
Okay.
The advanced videos?
Yep. So this is where attention to detail has to come in place, Megan. You know, when you do modeling, you're missing that attention to detail. Yep. And the attention to detail comes in this. So have you set yourself up with a tutor again?
No, because I didn't find one.
Okay, you've got to get a tutor set up or someone in class. Okay? If this continues, you're going to risk not getting a passing grade or getting the grades that you need.
Okay.
So, because I'm not going to harp on it too much, but from everything that we've taught, this is unacceptable. To ask me for help and not know that this was a problem means that you're not getting the information or you're not absorbing the learnings. Okay, so next, and we'll walk through some of how to fix this too, potentially. So now next my question is, so hold on one second, so we don't have tangency up top, which we know. Is it just up the top area? So it gets better towards the back, but you can still see it. Now, was your expectation that you would have a hard edge along the center here? Do you see what I'm talking about? Let me just go, I'm just going to change the background here. So that's a question I'm having for you, Megan. Did you want that kind of like razor edge? Was that what you were looking for?
So for wait, hang on. Mm, so I'm using two computer right now. So for this one, it's like a mirror view, and what I want to do is like just one side without the mirrors.
I'm not sure what you mean.
So like for this one, you have the mirror view, and then for my final, I kind of like just want the one side of the model is kind of like the one I sent you.
So you only want it as half?
Yeah.
So that's not the assignment. It's got to be a full model, and it's got to
Okay.
be both halves. You know, because this, what you've got here, and I would suggest that you be writing notes down. If I'm saying it needs to be a full model, you should be writing this down, Megan.
Okay.
Because if I look at this, this isn't, if you were to submit this, it's not a solid. You can't do anything with this.
Okay.
So even then, my question is still going to be, see how this, let me do this here. This will help. Sorry, let me just find my way again here. Okay. So again, here, my question is still, did you want that to come to a flat edge? You know, it's basically, because when you mirror it over, it's a knife edge, which is what we're getting here. So the question is when you modeled this up, is this what you envisioned? Is this what you expected?
Yes, because I don't want the bottom to be tangents.
Okay, so that's then perfect. That's what I'm trying to get to. If that's what you want it without it being tangent and just like a knife edge, excellent. You know, because those are my questions. I don't know what your vision is. Because my challenge was going to be if you didn't want that, then that should have been in your notes. Okay. Now you said, let me just pull this back up here. Oh, that image hasn't loaded. That's why. Disconnect between two services. So I'm not sure why that's not loading up. So you're saying at the back, the highlight is weird. So one of the things is, you know, it's weird, but what do you want it to look like? So one of the things is, you know, on the image board, you've got to make sure it's something that I can clearly see. Like if I zoom in on here, that's as close as I can zoom. I can't see the highlight. So when we communicate this, and a large part of this is getting everyone to understand how to clearly communicate, you know, because there are going to be times where as the designer, you may be telling another person who's going to model this up on, here's your model, Megan, I modeled it up. Your job is going to be to say, well, hold on, I don't like how this turned out. I'm not liking this highlight. So when I look at this, I'm not sure what highlight do you mean. Do you mean down here?
Because I was using a different materials, and I see the highlight I see is kind of different when I use different materials. So,
The different material is not going to change the highlight.
or the angle, like.
So that's what I mean. You're going to need to send me a picture that shows me, like if it's in this area here, zooming in like that.
Okay.
Shoot, I just lost my model. There we go. Zooming in like that, and then saying, you know, I don't like this, and drawing a line over it. Think about what would John do if he doesn't like your sketch. He'd probably draw on it and it says it needs to be this, and you need to change that. So this is, and part of this exercise, I know it's hard, but I'm not telling you guys how your form should be. It's for you guys to determine. Now, if I look at this, I like that highlight there. You know, it comes down, it goes to the ball, and then it rolls back around. A lot of what's going on here is because your surface flattens out. That's why you lose that highlight. So that's a natural shape of your surface. So if you wanted this highlight here to go all the way down, then this back edge, let's go back to SolidWorks. This back edge would have to have a roundness to it. So it can't be that perfectly knife sharp. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I wanted to be like this shape like this, I could just like say like this without changing the shape. This just look more like my drawing.
No, and that's fine. It's one of those things, like if it looks the way you want, awesome. But then sometimes it's like, but I don't want this highlight to do that. Well, that's a nature of your surface. That's where I was saying it can be tricky, because you can sketch something out and show a highlight on it, you know, in your sketch, but that highlight would never be real. And that's what you see when you get it into your 3D model. So if you're going to want to change highlights down in this area, then what needs to happen is this sharp edge needs to go away. I'm not saying you have to change the highlights. It's up to you to determine, I like the way this looks, and I'm happy with it. Now let's take another look here. So that highlight is weird. I still can't get this picture to upload for some reason.
I think I sent it. Let me see if I can open.
Yeah, try to re-upload it. Okay, so as you do that, you feel this area needs more planes to be smoother. Okay, so let us take a look at that section. That is at the front, correct?
Yeah.
So when you say smoother, I'm not, oh, hold on. I'm not really seeing any. I'm just trying to see what isn't smooth here that you're not liking. Okay, so some of this, so it's a good job on how you've started these curves, but some of this, in order to get this smoother, let me come back and find this here. So you did a good job of trying to wrap it around. And this one is great because you can see here how that's 90 degrees. And let me, you know what, let me just do this. So you can see how that's 90 degrees to that surface edge.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we do that, these ones aren't. You've got to try to find that middle balance. So even though, like this one here, most definitely, if I come in and I edit this, hold on. Okay, so if I was to come in and edit this, let's go to the right plane. What I would want is to try to get these, so if that's where that is, if I try to get that at 90 degrees, that's going to be more like that versus this. That's what's causing a little bit of your problem with the wobbles. Same as that there. You can see in your surface, the further we went around here, the worse things got. And that was because each one of these progressively gets further off alignment. Now this one, maybe we do that. So are you seeing what I'm referring to as these go around? These lines curves would match that there? Does that make sense? Okay. So now the next thing too is, and this is where, go back and re-watch the second video I gave you. Okay?
Okay.
Because part of the problem is that I don't think, let me just go and see. When you're building this surface, okay, what happened to everything? There we go. I don't know what happened there. So there's, oh man, why is it doing that? Oh, I know why. No. So if we look at this surface, the way you built it, you didn't use this surface edge. So in that video, I had mentioned that you want to build off the edges when you can. So that's in the second video. So let me just show you what I mean. So I'm going to delete this surface. I need to bring back so yeah, so you did a good job with these. So you can actually just go back and change those lines to get the right angle. I'm trying to find where that first original sketch was. So that's that one. There we go. There's that one. I'm not quite sure what one is the right one here, Megan. Okay. Looks like that's the one. So let me just come back. Okay, I see what you did. Bear with me, I just have to go back through a few things because when I did that sketch, okay, I'm just going to reopen it. Okay, so we've got the surface edge in here that you built. So what we wanted to do is okay, so that's part of the problem, Megan. So you lofted it from here to here, but you didn't necessarily use any of the control points. So, you know, as mentioned, I try to avoid using lofts. Because right now, you're just allowing it to go from this edge, along this edge, and whatever happens along this edge here is whatever happens because you're not connecting it to anything. Does that make sense?
Because I tried the other surface, the other way to build the surface, and then I don't know, it doesn't work. So I'm not sure why.
Okay, so let's try this. We're going to delete this. Make sure, hopefully it doesn't mess everything up. Wait a second, hold on. Okay, so that's, okay, so here's the thing. So you had all these curves in here. Did you use these when you made that surface?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to come back. We're going to go back to our surfaces, and we're going to go boundary. And here's where we want to use that edge, okay? So it's always better to use the surface edge. So before, what you were doing was you were using a curve. So now we're going to come down here, and we're going to go to this line here. And then we're going to use the direction curve. So we can come in, and we can do all of these. And we're still going to get that little bit of lumpiness in there. And part of that is, and I'll show you here, when we look at our curves, let me me just turn these all on again. If I look at my curvature comb for that curve and we select this one, come on. See how this one has that perfect curve here, where this one goes quicker and fatter. And if I look at this one here, so what's happening is, if we look at, and then we go back to this, there's not necessarily a smooth transition from curve to curve to curve. And again, it's not to say your surface is bad if that's what you wanted to do. If you were to try to get this to be a little bit more smoother, what you would want to do is come in, let's edit that. And you can see just by pulling that in, now again, this is, if you felt like there was a wave in there, all I'm doing is cleaning up the curves to get rid of that wave and to get it smoother. If I'm doing what you want, or, oh, there we go, edit sketch. If it's giving you what you want, then we do this. But if it's one of those things where it's like, well, I don't like the way the highlights look now, so let's see if that actually changed that surface at all. What? There we go. So you can see down in here, it smoothed it out. But we've still got quite the large sweep on here. Now, part of that, no, you didn't want tangency along here, right? You wanted that sharp edge?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, really, what I see is, you know, if I'm asking you to refine this, you know, based on the things that you pointed out, I would get these curves so that they're in a better angle, like we just talked about. So this and this needs to be adjusted. The other thing is for this top surface, you've got to, what's going on there? Well, it says it is tangent.
Yeah, I don't know why, like all my curves are like tangents, and then the mirror surface is still like.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find where your tangency goes wrong. Oh, no. So it peaks there. So it looks good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'm going to mirror this over. Because we want to see where it's not tangent. So let's go feature, mirror. So one way to see where the problem may be is by coming in and doing that evaluation tool. So we're going to come back and evaluate, and this is going to tell us where the angles are. So that's part of the problem there, that's not flat.
I think it's because like you didn't select the edge.
Oh, I didn't?
No, I think it's the shade edge.
Okay, but I didn't rebuild this surface. So I think what you're saying is, come on, is right. I missed that back edge. Okay, let's do this again. So something else you might want to consider too, so again, this is in the video, is sometimes it helps, again, like building things off of edges when you sweep them. So instead of using that curve, I extruded that curve, and now I'm going to use that edge to build it.
Okay.
So I don't want that because I want to make sure, oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's try this again now. We'll do our boundary surface. And I think once you get these lines straightened up, that will clean that up a lot.
this is what happened when I try to build a surface, so I use the loft surface.
Right, but unfortunately the loft surface wasn't giving you what, or wasn't as good as you needed it to be.
Yeah.
So that would have been one of the things to make in your notes. You know, what did you struggle with? You know, and to say, hey, I tried to put a loft surface in here, but it wouldn't work. No. So what we'll do is we'll loft from this edge to this edge, and then we'll use these curves as our guide curves. I want that edge. Oh, so there's the problem, Megan. This surface or this curve that you had doesn't match up with this point. So if I come back and I edit this, see that curve?
Yeah. I see.
So now, so again, usually if something doesn't work, it's something to do with, like if you can't get a surface in and it's giving you an error, more often than not, it's your curves.
Okay.
So let's see if that works now. If it doesn't work, I should have checked that surface first. So now let's see if we get what we want. Ah! I don't know why this is all of a sudden slowed down my machine too. There we go. So I was grabbing the sketch and not the surface edge. Okay, so there now we've got it in. Okay, so that's what I would suggest that you work on, Megan, between now and Thursday, is fixing up the angle that these surfaces are at, or these curves are at, so that they get more. So on the top you did a great job. You know, you need to get that a little. This one here gets a little wonky. It should be more over here. This one really gets wonky. It should be more over here. You know, like I was showing you. So you just need to fix those up a little bit, and that's going to help a lot. And then between now and Tuesday, work on trying to figure out why this is not being tangent. Okay? Ask Pete if he's there. Ask, talk to Nathan, talked to Josh. Any of those three can probably give you some good guidance.
Okay.
Okay?
So because right now I think they don't have any product design student tutoring, and this is what when I asked them, and then they don't have any.
So again, like last semester,
Mm.
you say that, hey, I need to find, my professor will find the student to help tutor me. You know, that's what has to happen. So you make the request, have them talk to me, and I'll tell them, yes, you guys don't have any interns for that, but what I do is I get one from the 4th year and ask them specifically. Okay?
Okay.
So do you
Yeah.
remember that's what happened last time?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to communicate. If they came
Mhm.
back to you and said, "Hey, they don't have a tutor," then you should have came to me and said, "Chevis, they don't have a tutor."
Okay.
Versus not talking.
Okay.
Okay? I will upload this video and I'll just send you a quick text when it's up. Just you're going to have to give it a little bit, okay?
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. Talk to you later.
Okay.